So this is a four-step secret or healing of any disease. Yeah. When I say any disease, let me also tell you it. There is a possibility, like a lot of people ask me, Raju, any disease can be cured. See, anything for a cure to happen for anything, not just any disease, even if it's your business, even if it's your health, even if it's your relationship, it always works with the commitment that you have towards that area. It is always the commitment that you have towards that area and how much of determination, how much of time you are putting in, how much of that issue to heal it is your priority. That is very, 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 very important. Yeah, there is nothing in this world that can come in and just cure anyone or anything like this. No, if that were the case, everyone would have been having billion-dollar businesses within few days or few weeks. But that doesn't work. It takes a good amount of time. People start off something, they fall, they stumble, they figure out, and then they become successful. And that is the story for everyone and everything, be it your health, be it your disease. But let me also tell you right at the outset, I don't treat the dates, the disease. I don't see it disease only at the level of health. Though we mention, when we say disease, we look at it as if only at the level of the health. But I look at it, if your business is not working and that is discomforting, that's also a disease. If at all your relationships are not working, that is definitely going to cause some kind of discomfort and pain, and that is also a disease. So disease is not limited to only health. Anything that causes a discomfort, takes you away from ease, that is called a disease. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. And the moment you will see, when you have clarity, when everything starts working properly, for most of them, they will start noticing there is clarity in the mind, they are more peaceful, the relationship starts working. So that is what it is. So it is not necessarily that everyone will have a health problem, but treat anything and everything that is causing a sense of uneasiness, any kind of discomfort, call it a disease, and then work on that uneasiness, and you will notice the other area, the area of your life will start working very well. Yeah, and if this is clear and this is helping you, put it on the chat, helpful. Yeah. So starting at the outset with this understanding, let's take it ahead. Yeah. So this is a four-step secret to healing any disease without medicines and chemicals. Yeah. And so let me also mention something about myself. I am a homeopathic doctor practicing for last 28 years. Yeah, I'm at Mumbai, Andheri, and I have been training, and I am also a counselor, a health psychologist. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I train people in level 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I am also like a transactional analysis practitioner and a trainer. So I do transactional analysis, which is like the PSE model, which is very, very important to understand oneself, why your behaviors are the way they are, and why most of us have unproductive and ineffective lives and ineffective behaviors that lead to self-sabotage. So that is what I train people in, that is transactional analysis. I also train people in Tai Chi and Qigong. I've been practicing Tai Chi and Qigong. It's a soft martial arts, and it's a slow martial art, which helps to relax, deal with stress, and also helps in reverse aging. Yeah, you don't get the effects of aging because it's a very powerful toxification process. Yeah, and a stress reliever. So that I teach on Saturdays, every Saturday in the morning, online from 7 to 8 a.m. and anyone and everyone can be joining in. It's a very wonderful program for weight loss and otherwise also. So these are some of the things that I do, and I have various other programs, and the one that is there, which I have trained people in to become better healers and effective therapists. that is called accelerated chaos, in which I integrate a lot of other therapies and all that, which I've been practicing for last so many years, such that people can move very fast. And at the same time, people who are therapists and healers and counselors and psychologists and doctors, they can integrate into their own practices and get powerful and quick results in their lives. Yeah, and for their clients or patients. So this is what I'm doing. Yeah. So now moving ahead. So accelerating chaos with core somatic integration. So I'm going to talk about core somatic integration today, and how do I accelerate chaos? So I'll just give you one or two cases very quickly. So there was this lady, she's a nutritionist. She came from UK and having two kids. The kids were at that time small, maybe 3 or 4 at that time, or maybe 6. And I was called in for a visit, and she said that I am very scared because I have been diagnosed as having a heart problem. And the doctor has suggested that we may have to go in for a small surgery to resolve this. And she says, I'm too scared. You can typically understand a mother of 2 and small kids, and no one wants to go through a surgery, because whether you are like, she was a nutritionist, and she's done a master's from UK. But still you're scared. You don't want to. Even if you're a doctor, you don't want to go through a surgery, especially with small kids around, having a family. And she was going through the same thing. And I still remember that being called to Mahim, and I was there we did 2 or 3 sessions max. And she went through this, whatever I'm talking about, and she experienced what's happening with the fears and everything. She experienced it in the body, and it's a very non-medical medicine and non-chemical related thing. Okay. And there is no invasive procedures in this. And on the 3rd day, she experienced whatever she experienced. She went ahead, and after that, she was supposed to meet the doctor. She went and met the doctor, and this was the statement that she gave me after she came in. And she's saying, the doctor said that, and the meeting was after 15 days. The doctor said that I cannot find the disease which we were looking at. And and she was surprised, and she's saying, but it has to be there somewhere. And that is what happens with many of this practitioners, because they are searching for a disease in the body. They're not looking at the person to be healed. And most of the holistic sciences, they look at the person to be healed. Because if the person is fine, the disease will not exist. But the way most of the practitioners are trained, or the medical science is trained, that they want to look at the disease, and they believe that if you remove the disease, everything will be fine. But that's not how it is, because it's the whole body is in the space of dynamism, or dynamic. It's a dynamic experience. So they all work together. And if at all there is one problem in one area, it shows up as a disease in some area. Yeah. But that disease doesn't have to start at the physical level. The disease starts somewhere at a very, very non-physical level. And that is where we have to work upon if you want to heal any disease from the core level or the root level. Yeah. And then you can actually call it a cure. Yeah. Because then it's a complete healed experience. And that will also show up as a healed experience in all other areas also. Your business will improve, your finances will improve, depending upon what's your focus, and also your relationships will improve. It does, because a disease is just an expression of something not working in some area, but it is expressed in the form of your health problem. So we got to work upon this, and you will start seeing the changes in all this. And many of them, I think, would vouch. And I was doing a webinar like this, and I didn't know that this lady was there in the webinar. That was just a year back. And that is after 4 years. She came, 4 or 5 years she had come on on the introductory webinar. And she said that every year I get the test done. And every year the doctor says, we will find the problem someday, and then we'll do the surgery. And she was like, on the webinar, she was saying that, but I want to tell the doctor that it will not be found, because I don't have it inside, because I am healed. So that was her statement. And let me tell you, it's great. It's exhilarating to hear this from someone who's also from a paramedical background. She said that it cannot be found because I'm healed from within. So this is one of the cases that I would talk about. Yeah. And then there is this case of a lady who came with PCOD. Yeah, polycystic ovarian disease. And she was a 20-year-old at that time. Counts. She was a psychologist, yes, and she was completely against getting married. And she says, I cannot think of getting married, and I don't want to get into a relationship. I've never got into a relationship and with guys. So and as we went about, uh, there's a case taking that is done, and the case taking was done, and she said that I have so much of anger towards my mother, and uh, that is how it is. And then we worked upon it in the next session, and in the third session she comes in and she says, doctor, I don't know, but there's a small change happening. I just seem to be getting interested in guys for whatever reason. I just feel like there's a leaning key. I just feel that I'm getting some interest in guys, which was never my case. And in the fourth session, when she came in, she says, I have got a proposal from a guy, and I think I'm going to say yes. And then she got married. I went for the marriage. And today it's been 10 years, and she's got twins, and the children are almost 8 or 9 years old. So that is how it is. This is just some of them. And then we have worked upon cancers, various other leukemia, a lot of other things. I'm just talking about some chronic ailments, but many, many things, breathlessness, a lot of things has been worked upon. And uh, I may not even remember the kind of cases that I've seen, but I'm saying this is how very quickly it starts shifting the makes about a change. We have worked upon relationships, and there's a quick shift in the whole relationship. People who have been fighting and struggling, and you can know how nasty and how bad it can get in relationship. Even marriage, no marriage, it can get really nasty in a couple also. And they come down, and sometimes within 2 or 3 sessions they say, we just have stopped, the fights have just stopped. It's almost like uh, completely shift that has happened. We can relate to each other better. We can understand each other better. Yeah, this is Sanchia Halton writing. Helpful. You have helped me before as well. Thanks a lot, Sanchia. So this is how it is. And the most beautiful part of this whole work is that it's very simple. But as it is said, most simple things in life are not very well understood, nor people practice it. Yeah, it's difficult to understand for many people because it's so simple. Like it's as simple as oxygen, which is available to us freely. But how many of us are really paying attention to keep it clean, the environment clean, such that we can have good oxygen? Because it's so much available, we don't even pay attention to it. Something that I would keep mentioning about that parental love. It is so much available. There's so much of love. Now, how many of us really appreciate that? There are very handful of them that who really appreciate that they're doing everything out of love. But that's how it is, because it becomes just redundant. Yeah. And the same thing about healing. Healing is also so simple. All you got to do is put the energy that flows through your body, it gets disbalanced, and that's what leads to a disease. And now, if you can create something such that it gets balanced and it starts flowing properly, it is in harmony, you will have health. That is as simple as that. But then as it said, that it's simple to say this, but to practice it becomes difficult. To bring it back into balance, yes, it is, because it takes a good amount of practice and discipline, and that is what may not be available to everyone. Yeah. So start going from here, let's move ahead, and let's talk about what you will learn in the Accelerating Cures with Core Somatic Integration is trauma healing. This is one key that I practice, how to heal traumas quickly. Yeah. And 6-step technique to heal any disease: initiate cellular healing in minutes, and 4 steps to reverse programming to natural immunity and health, and how to integrate conscious communication with your unconscious and prevent incurable diseases, and live a harmonious and effective life. Now, how to integrate conscious communication with the unconscious? That's the key to any healing. When the conscious and the unconscious come together, they are in sync with each other, the healing happens. And most of the time, they are not in sync. Yeah. Because the understanding that this has and the understanding that has is completely not in sync. Yeah, it's a scientific, rapid, and an effective therapeutic modality. Now, one thing that I believe in, and what I believed in is not my own thing. I started reading it by authors, by doctors, and we are talking about MDs who are from the other side of the medicine, not just holistic, but they have taken up this side and they started understanding that there is no such thing as an incurable disease. There are only incurable people. And that's exactly what I mentioned right in the beginning, that it's the person that has to be healed, not the disease. You treat the person, the disease. And this is the crux on which homeopathy also rests. Yeah, that's the foundation, that there is the person first. Yeah, then the disease. The person has to be healed. The disease will automatically vanish. Are you getting it? It's like the building. If you take care of the foundation, the building will stand strong for a long time. You cannot just keep doing the pillars here and there or the paint the walls. You have to go for the foundation. Strengthen the foundation, the building will stand for maybe 100 years also. Now, there is no incurable disease, only those for which man has not yet found the cure. And this is what I want you to pay attention to. Most of us are told that you cannot be cured. When they come to me, I say, let that practitioner say that I am not able to cure you. Because maybe you go to someone else and the person is able to cure you. And it doesn't matter. It can be allopathic also. You get fever and you go to a doctor and you say, iska haath hai na jamta nahi mere ko. But mera jo doctor uska haath jamta hai. What is this haath jamna? The same medicines were given by this person, and this person could, because maybe your faith or the trust was also there. So it's not that the disease is not curable. It is just that it can be cured by someone else. So there is no incurable disease, only those for which man has not yet found. So when they say that there is no cure, so it's an incomplete statement according to me. It has to be said it cannot be cured yet, or it cannot be cured by this science. Though they may not agree that just because one part of the one area of science is, oh, it cannot be cured, that means it cannot be cured. No, it's not true. That cannot be cured by your type of medicine. But there are so many other medicines, like you talk about Ayurvedic, you talk about homeopathy, you talk about holistic sciences. There's so many of them, they do a lot of cures. So just because one section of medical science says it cannot be cured and everyone buys it, everyone takes it as that dictum ki yes, if they say it will not be, no, that's not true. You have to remove that belief from your head first, because it's your belief that it cannot be cured. Just because someone says arthritis can't be cured, oh, it can never be cured, diabetes cannot be cured, it will never be cured, that's not the truth. That's the truth only for the doctor and the person who believes in that. It's not the truth for the entire humankind or for other sciences. But only thing is that our sciences are not being highlighted. That doesn't mean that it's not existing. Cure is possible. I want you to start off with this belief system first of all. And that is what I work upon when I'm working with my clients. I help them change their belief systems, because when their belief systems change, a lot of things starts flowing harmoniously. A lot of things start flowing in the proper direction. So one thing is that they got to understand that a cure is possible. Remember, we all know this. It's as simple as that. When I tell people that suppose you're running a race, yeah, let's take into consideration the two types of thought processes. Yeah? So you're running a race, maybe a long distance or a short distance, maybe a 500-meter race. And now you start off with, oh, I cannot do it. The competitor is better than me. Oh, I don't think I've not practiced for a long time. I didn't do it properly. And maybe luck is not on my side. Just imagine this kind of thought process. What will happen, first of all? Yeah. Are you able to put your 100%? Are you really energetic? Are you really enthusiastic? Are you capable of? Do you think that kind of person would win? Second scenario, where the person is there again, same 100 meters, 500 meters, or a long distance, and the person says, I will give my best. I know I'm going to do it, and I have put in 100%. I just have to run and give my best in this. And it doesn't matter who's come from where and how good they are, but I'm going to. Now, the person may or may not win, but the attitude is completely different. The experience is completely different. The energy levels and the enthusiasm levels are completely different. Now, the kind of energy that flows in the person is completely in a way that the person is putting in more than what the other person, the first person, is putting in. And that is what makes all the difference. The creativity, the ideas that flow in the person's mind is completely different. And ask any sports person this. When they come up with this attitude, they say, I didn't even know that I'm going to hit this shot. But it happened because your mind will create that a new understanding, a new clarity, or a new dimension completely for whatever is thrown at you. So that is what it is. How many of you understand this and believe that and find that this is very helpful, like this is clear, and they find that the change in your thought process, the change in your attitude is the first step to any kind of shift happening in your life. If at all it's you, just write down me or I believe. Yeah, great. Yeah, I believe. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Awesome. And I can tell you, because there are some people who have attended my programs, and there are some people over here who have been my clients, and we have seen, yeah, around 100%, yes. And we have seen that shift happening in those people just by the shift in the way they look at it. Yeah, just in the way they look at it. And that's what matters. And that's what is the first step to any kind of change. Yeah. And here we are not working towards just making that shift, but this is, if at all a person, like I have a lot of people who come with cancers, and when they come in, one of the things is that they're very hopeless. They feel that there's no hope because they already been said that, boss, there's not much time, or it's a life-threatening disease and all. And of course, even if the doctor doesn't say, the word cancer itself is like so scary for every one of us, including me. It's scary because you don't know what's going to happen. And if it's happening to your loved one, you don't want it to happen. But the thing is, it's scary. So I have the first step I would generally take with most of the clients is that first change this attitude towards the disease. I said, if your attitude changes, then we can think. So the first session generally goes in just them understanding what the disease is and how it will completely transform the way they are looking at the disease. And they say, we feel so boosted up. And that boosted up experience is where the beginning is of any kind of cure. At least we are on the healthier footing. Okay, so now whenever there is a crisis, there are three ways that we. Now, what is a trauma? Let's understand this. What is a trauma? Yeah, trauma is something that is like where you're feeling, you are in a space where you're feeling very helpless, maybe you're feeling very hopeless, where you're very scared and you feel threatened. Now, that doesn't have to be very big. Are you getting me? Because for a small child, just getting lost for a minute and not finding the mother and the father in the market where they have gone together is like such a traumatic, can be such a traumatic experience. Or the child walking in the dark and just hearing some dog bark and suddenly gets so scared. It can be a very life-threatening experience for the child. But for an adult person, that may not be, because an adult person knows that I'm capable of going back home. So that's a different story. But for them, it can be something else can be very traumatic. The health of a loved one going bad, or suddenly hearing news, or meeting with an accident. It can be anything. So now whenever there is where you feel helpless, hopeless, scared and threatened for life, like it's a life and death situation, that can be a traumatic experience. That is what is called as crisis. Now, what do you mean by a traumatic experience? now remember, this is a traumatic experience. Trauma is not an event. First of all, you have to get it. Trauma is not an event. Trauma is an experience. It's an internal thing. So what can be traumatic to you may not be traumatic to me. What can be traumatic to me may not be traumatic to something else, though we are all going through the same experience at the same time. That's why some people can handle it and they can get out of it and not develop any problem later on. And some people end up with a major problem later, like a disease also. Yeah. Now, in any kind of situation where there is crisis, we react in two ways. One is called the fight, where we really fight it. You can be angry, you can be upset, you can get aggressive. Yeah. And fighting is not just this, you do something about the situation. That is also a fight. The second is flight. You run away from the situation. That is also good. Yeah, because that's also the mechanism that activates your survival mechanism. And if you can manage the fight and the flight, many a times you don't end up falling sick so badly. And this has been proved. Yeah. And the third one, which is very, very important, which most of us don't pay attention, is this, which is called the freeze mechanism, where you can't fight, you can't flight, and you're just paralyzed, you're powerless. So most of us as children feel very paralyzed and powerless, like the mother or the father beating up or putting them outside the house, or the teacher like in the class and telling the child to stand up in front of everyone, or just because they've not worn the right kind of uniform, remove the clothes and make them parade in the school. A lot of things can happen, and beating them up black and blue by parent or the parental figures. So or not giving them food, or telling them you don't belong, or you're not loved, or you don't why were you born. Anything can be very scary experience for the child, because the child is completely dependent on the parent or the parental figures for approval, for survival. And that can lead them in a very helpless, hopeless situation. And that's one of the reasons most of us, even as we grow up, yeah, we are repeating patterns where there could be authority figure, or there could be a situation that cannot be handled and the person becomes very scared, anxious, helpless, paralyzed kind of thing, that I cannot handle it. Now that can impact the business, the finance, the relationship, the health. And that's what I said, they're all connected to each other. It doesn't matter whether it's a relationship. Your relationship is bad, it's definitely many a times it shows up on your health, it shows up on your finances, it shows up. So this is how it is, or other way around. Your finances are bad, business is not going well, you'll have fights at home. So that is what it is. So that's what I said, you start working on one area and most of the other areas also start getting worked upon. So this is what it is. So what we are doing is that when I'm working with these people, I'm helping them connect to the frozen experience. I'm helping them connect to the frozen experience in them. And let me tell you, this frozen experience that is there, the numbed in experiences are experienced by you all the many a times, especially in stressful situations. And this is expressed by the subconscious most of the times, but many of them don't know how to access it, and most of them don't know how to heal it. And this is what is being taught when we are talking about accelerating cures, when we are talking about core somatic integration. We are talking about how do we reconnect to that potential of our mind and body that can heal itself. And remember one thing, the body can heal itself. What we got to learn is how to communicate to the body such that it can heal itself. The body can heal itself. It has a very powerful mechanism. It has the potential to heal itself. What we need to learn is how to communicate to the body such that it heals itself. Does it help? Yeah, the body can heal itself. Remember this. So it's important we reconnect in a way such that the body is able to now reconnect to its highest healing potential. And most of us are not, because of our fear, because of our anxiety, because the way we have been, we have had our experiences, we don't connect to that healing potential. Otherwise, everyone is capable. Otherwise, how come people who have not been doing well in a business take help from a therapist or a facilitator and they start doing good businesses? So every person has the capacity to do good business. May not be the great levels like others reach, but definitely to manage themselves, yes, or to manage themselves very well at work. Everyone is capable of, but they don't know how to do it. So that's where the help is required. Yeah. Now, when we're talking about this, we are talking about, so this is also the freeze mechanism is also called the playing dead. Yeah, you play dead, and now playing dead is another word nowadays. Like generally, they give it as the scientific or the medical name is depression. But it's not necessary that you have to get depressed. Playing dead could be just avoiding a situation, ignoring a situation, suppressing or holding on to something from the past. That is also playing dead. And most of us do that. Look at ourselves. Most of us are holding so much of negativity that we have about our childhood, about our parents, about our parental figures, about our teachers. Yeah. And we go around in life as if nothing has happened, just believing that this is how life is. But that's not true. Life is not like that. Life is supposed to be enjoyed. Life is supposed to be fun. Life is supposed to be easy, because that's what it was when you were a kid. It was flowing easily to you. What happened as you grew up? What happened is that you started playing dead and you started believing that this is how life is. And that's what life you will get, the kind of life you get. And anything that is dead will stink. And that is why I tell many of them, that is why some areas of our life stinks. Stinks in the way it's not working. Now, when we talk about anxieties and fears, when we talk about trauma, now there are three parts of the brain. Now the lower brain, which is called the reptilian brain, it has a tendency to react, and that is what we are born with. Now that reacts to situations. And once that memory is formed, like the child has been thrown out of the house or been told, I don't love you, or the child doesn't get food on time, for the child, it's very threatening because the child doesn't know how to get it on their own and will die. Now that experience, like every animal, is stored in the reptilian brain. And then we start perceiving things from that. That's why we may we have our own perception. If someone said something or does something, we have our own perceptions and we react from that perceptions, and we react as if it's reality. So the person says something like, oh, something very which could be not even supposed to be hurting you, but you react as if the person has done a crime, and you react so badly because that is the perception that you have. And that's coming from the belief system that you already carried right from childhood, that no one loves me. So you walk into a party and the host is busy, and the host is not paid attention to you or is busy with someone else, and you felt as if, boss, I have been neglected, or no one cares for me, no one values me, not realizing that the host was busy at that time. But when you go back in childhood and you check, and when the case is taken, then you understand that, oh, I was not given that kind of importance, that and I felt very unimportant, or I felt that no one is going to take care of me. I was not supported. Now that is all stuck up in your lower brain, that those kind of memories, and they get triggered off, and they are very automatic and they're very unconscious. That's why you cannot do anything. And that is what also explains the road rage, the rage in relationships. Suddenly the person might say, oh, I love you, but can beat up the other person. And the kind of experience that you carry, suppose you're carrying a lot of violence in you, the disease that you develop will also be moreover violent. If you are suppressing a lot of emotions, the disease that develops will be like something that will be suppressed. And that is also what we call as like constipation. Many of the people who suffer from constipation are people who hold back emotions. Check it out. A lot of people, if you have constipation and if you think that whatever I'm saying is true, write down true. Okay. Or you're holding back, you might suffer from a lot of throat infections, chest infections, asthma, because I'm not able to speak out, I'm not able to express. Or if you're conflicted in your approach towards people, okay, yeah, a lot of aggression is there, but you're not able to express. or you have a conflicted version towards things, you might be developing migraine or something, or a severe headache. Or check this out, many of the people who have pains. Now the pains are uh, an expression of anger that has been stored. Check it out. A lot of your joint pains and all that, or stiffness of the joint, you will check there is some amount or a lot of resentment that is stored, or a lot of inflexibility. If you think anything fits in, you know about yourself or your relatives having this kind of attitude and they have a disease like this, write down agree. Yeah, write down agree over here. Or even cancers for that matter. Most of them, they say, oh, the person is so good and this nice person has got cancer. That's because they're too good. They're suppressing their emotions big time. Big time. And look at the cancers that each one gets. The kind of cancers they get, some people get like they just carry on with the cancer for years together, but there are some who get it and they immediately die. Many of them who have it and they die immediately. You will also check the other people who are very anxious also, because the disease is always in resonance with the kind of attitude you have. That's why you will not, everyone will not have the same kind of disease. You have to get this. It's not everyone has a long-term disease. Some will get it and three months they decline. Someone will get it and they will pull on for next 20 years. So this is also depending upon the kind of attitude or the kind of belief systems that you have or the approach you have towards life. So once you understand all this, it's easier for you to understand yourself and deal with it. Or help your clients also to understand. That becomes much more easier. How about, yes, PCOS also is the same thing. We just spoke about PCOS just now. Yeah. So a lot of PCOS can be like non-acceptance of my own femininity, or can be an aggression towards partner, or can be like towards a female figure like a mother or whatever. We just gave the case just now. So it can be anything. Yeah, but each person is like, it's individualistic, so I cannot just generalize it, but this is what has been seen. Now the amygdala, so what is it? This is called the amygdala, the part in the middle brain which is which reacts to emotions. Yeah, that is called the amygdala. Yeah, and the limbic system. So there's a part which is the amygdala. So what happens whenever there's a threat, the amygdala just reacts. Now for the brain, the amygdala and the reptilian brain, it is whatever is happening, it's happening in the here and now. Are you getting me? It's like you're sitting to study. You have a study table. You're sitting to study, and you put your feet. You just spread your, you push, you stretch your leg, and suddenly it touches something very soft, and you suddenly pull your leg back, and there is palpitation, as if you have touched some mouse or some snake. Though you are in a house and we are in such a place like Bombay or any place where there are no snakes now available. Okay, and maybe a lot of us don't even have rats or mouses in mice in our house. But the thing is that the mind just conjures up that image and suddenly gets so scared and there's palpitation. And then you say, oh, there's nothing like that. So that's the reptilian. The amygdala took over and the reptilian brain reacted as if it's happening now. Now, for many of us, this reaction is continuing anytime and every time. They look at people and they think that, oh, it's always threatening. And that is what is the cause for many of the diseases. Like you talk about OCDs, bipolars, and all those things. These are the main causes. Like we have to go there and treat that where they feel threatened or they have this fear or anxiety. And where did it start? What are they trying to cover up? What are they trying to fight back? What are they in conflict with? Once you start doing that, then only the real change happens. Yeah. Now the amygdala reactions are very non-logical and not rational. Okay, that's the snake and the rope and the snake thing. And they're based on associations. It's not based on logic. Because in childhood, I had seen a dog which came after me. and I'm 40 now, and I'm still scared of dogs as if they're going to bite me. Or in childhood, someone left me alone, and I've grown up, I'm in a marriage, I have kids and all that, but I always feel that, oh, my wife or my husband is going to leave me. How logical it is, but it's based on that association. That's why it doesn't make sense, and that's where the breakdowns in many relationships happen. And I specialize in relationships, like marriages and relationship ailments and relationship problems, and I've seen it. And just by understanding it and putting it across and working on those people, sometimes you just take a session or two, and 10-15 years of marriage being so bad or relationships being so bad, suddenly in 2-3 sessions, suddenly there's a complete change in the attitude. People say we stop fighting, we are starting to understand each other, we are able to communicate with a lot of ease now. How does it happen that after 15 years or 20 years, in within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, there's a huge change? That's only because now they understand these are associations, and we change the associations also through the therapy. And it's a reptilian brain reaction, and it's unconscious. Remember, it's unconscious. It's beyond the awareness of your consciousness. And that's why even if you want to, you're not able to control it. Now, the mind is made up of two parts, the conscious and the unconscious part. Now, remember, though we say everything is unconscious, and what is important is your conscious mind also, because the conscious mind will guide the unconscious in the direction of where you want to. But if the unconscious is taken over and the conscious mind is not able to function properly, that's where you will continue with the same old patterns again and again and again and again. That's why when you are healing, when you learn self-healing also, or when you're getting healed, or you're going to a therapist or a facilitator or a coach, they are clearing up the unconscious of all that emotions, the unhealed emotions that you're holding on to. And once that is healed, then you are able to rationalize what is actually happening. I don't need to hold on to the negativity that I have towards my parents. My parents were also as helpless as anyone else, and they also didn't know. And suddenly they are able to forgive, and everything starts falling in place. Oh, my husband or my wife is not a wrong person or a bad person. No, I can understand that it comes from somewhere else, and I'm just projecting it on my partner or my children, on my business, or I am just playing passive aggressive behavior and I'm self-sabotaging my life, my career, my health. Once they start that, it's not a conscious information given, but it's a revelation to them. Okay, conscious information is available everywhere in the books. It's available in YouTube, but it doesn't make too much sense. But when you are working this out, suddenly that part of you just opens up. It's what we call as enlightenment. That enlightens you in the moment, and suddenly it changes, transforms the way you look at life, you perceive life. And that is what is changing. And remember, the unconscious, we are the unconscious creators of the disease. We are creating disease, but we are creating it unconsciously. And what we need to do, there are 3 universal laws. Yeah, there are the law of cause and effect. Like for everything that is happening, there's a cause, there's a consequence to it. We have to understand this, we have to respect it. Also, there's a law of vibration. The way we think and the way we feel is also creating vibrations around you. Yeah, positive or negative. And the third one is the law of intentional creation, that you are creating it, and you can create it unconsciously, right, coming from wherever you came from, or you can intentionally create a new thing. And most of us are not able to create it with a healthy intention. Everyone is creating it intentionally. However horrible life you are creating, but you'll say, I am creating it unconsciously. Doesn't matter. Are you getting me? Even if you know that this food is stale and you eat it, or you don't know this food is stale and you eat it, you are going to get a belly upset. So even if it's unconscious, there's a consequence to it. But intentionally, you can change it. This is what is very, very important. And the fourth, and now remember this, the healing begins when you make the unconscious conscious. The healing begins when you make the unconscious conscious. And this is the key to any healing. And that is what happens in all the therapies, in all the workshops. You are going through it and suddenly you become aware of it. Like last week, 2 weeks back, I was doing this transactional analysis, which is a 7-day, 2-hour program. And it has been intentionally kept as a 7-day thing so that people can work upon themselves every day. Transactional analysis gives you a deep insight about why you are behaving the way you're behaving, why you're sabotaging your life the way you're sabotaging it, why you're creating the problems in your life, your relationship, why are you not able to succeed in your life, why are you not able to make the kind of money though you think you have the potential and someone else is able to do it just like that. Why is it happening? And most of them who are there, almost all of them, they said we can see where we have created. And in the end, everyone was like a small kid enjoying the whole thing. They said we have never done this. Like we feel like so much like a small kid and small. And it's, remember, the problem was created when you were a small kid. The small kid was feeling not capable, feeling inferior, feeling small, feeling powerless. And that powerless small kid is still controlling your life. And that is why whenever you have situations that's beyond your control or stressful, you behave like you digress, you regress, and you behave like that same small kid, getting angry, upset, scared, worried, vulnerable. So you're not grown up into an adult, because adult decisions are the ones that will help you develop what you really want to. And that is what happens. And that's why we say conscious. We have to be conscious. And that is the adult thing. And that is what we learn in transactional analysis. And that's one of the reasons when we do inner child healing work, it works. But the inner child healing work, again, has to be done at the level where you go into the emotions and start healing it. And then you will see the fastest cure happening. Doesn't matter which area of life, be it health, be it business, be it finance, be it relationship, or any other area. Okay, now remember, this is just very powerful. I put it today. I really love this. Remember, the natural state of health is the fundamental principle. You're born with the natural state of health. You're born with the health blueprint. You're not born with the disease blueprint. And the mind and the body, the spirit is always moving towards health. Always. You got to support it. But most of us don't support it because our lifestyles are so horrible. And it's only getting worse. Now the body is able to organize and balance around this health principle. It knows how to adjust, it knows how to adapt to the environment around and the whatever internally you do, and maintain the order and balance and maintain the harmony. It is able to repair itself, and it's very resilient. It can come back again and again. That's why even after a lot of sickness, you come back. People have met with accidents, they say, oh, after 6 months I was back. Because the body's natural state of health, it's the fundamental principle. We always move towards health. So we got to respect that part of the body of ourselves and start supporting by lifestyle changes. And that is what I help people do. I help them make small changes in their lives. And suddenly that small change becomes such a big thing, and it takes over, and all of their life starts falling in place. And sometimes in the shortest time possible, in the most effective and productive manner. And that's the power of the work. And what is required is willingness, responsibility, and commitment. That is called WRCA, which I mentioned in my book, in this book called Giving Up Something to Receive Everything. I mentioned this specifically. The 4 things that are required is willingness, responsibility, commitment, and action. Yeah. The secret of healing any disease is the 4th law of this is law of being and allowing. So when we are doing core somatic integration, what we are learning specifically is the law of being and allowing. How do you allow things to happen on their own? How do you just be with what is happening? And that's the key. Because most of us are not able to be with what's happening. We want to do something all the time. But the thing is that whatever you're doing it from the past that you already know. That's why you will get the result of the past. The same action, same result, same, problem, same disease, same breakdowns. And this is what is one of the key learnings that you get by practice, how to be and allow. And that is where the whole change will occur. And that is what I call as witness sensing. How do you sense what's happening? This is also about my book, which someone was asking, Giving Up Something to Receive Everything, the 4-step miracle of mindful forgiveness for health, harmony, and prosperity. I will be coming up with a small webinar on this also to explain, to share the knowledge that is there inside. People who are interested can definitely join, and anyone and everyone can join, but I'll be talking about this differently. But anyone who wants to buy this books, this is available with me. The hard copy, the soft copy is on Amazon on the same name, or you can always order and I can say courier it to you. Yeah. Now remember the attention, intention, and the mechanics. We'll leave this. I already spoke about this. The body heals itself. What we need to learn is how to communicate to the body to heal itself. Yeah. So if there are any questions you want to ask, yeah, we'll leave this also. Yeah. Let me just check this. The 3 steps to any kind of change is identify, discharge, integrate, and followed by action. And this is what you're going to also learn in your you also got to learn you get to learn in the workshop. Yeah. So if there are any questions, then I will if there are questions, I'll answer the questions, and then I will tell you about the workshop that's happening on 11th, 12th, and 13th. That is on the coming weekend. That is happening on 11th, 12th, and 13th in the evening, 7 to 9:30 or 10. Yeah, it's a 3-day workshop. I generally don't keep it as a long thing. I keep it short so that every day people can practice and come back. And by the end of it, I generally used to do it 2 days, 5 hours, but this time I'm going to keep it 3 days so that people get more time to practice and it integrates better. Yeah, and I will just share this with you just now. Yeah. The core somatic integration towards 3 HSP, that is health, harmony, happiness, success, and prosperity. It helps to unfreeze your feelings and trauma and release the stress in the nervous system and leads to life essence. Life essence is what you are really born with. The core essence. Yeah. And once you're connected to the life essence, then your body starts healing itself. Yeah. The timing would be 7 to 9:30 or 10 o'clock mostly. 7 to 10. So core somatic integration therapy is an integrative body-centered counseling and therapy. It is tapping into innate healing potential by releasing the stress and the traumatic experiences. I'll just tell about some of the diseases that has been cured: migraines, headaches, back pain, ankylosing spondylitis, arthritis, GERD, IBS, leukemia, cancers, menstrual problems, PCOS, endometriosis, behavioral problems, overcoming addictions, pain disorders, obesity, relationship conflicts, PTSDs, stress-related problems, depression, anxiety, OCDs, fears and phobias, trauma from death and loss, and many more. This is just the beginning. So learn in 3 days the 6 steps on how to have freedom from diseases without any harmful side effects of medicines. Learn in 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes means there's a point where I'm going to teach the steps to transform disease into natural health. In 3 hours, the one simple methodology to have freedom from the diseases without medicines with no side effects. Right on the first day, you learn how to do it. That is as simple as that. And most of them go home, they practice on someone or the other, and they come back with the feedback. They are able to do it at the same time. They are able to get results also. And how can you accelerate cures by 50% or more, cures of psychological issues, major diseases and relationship breakdowns by 50%, and very, very useful for counselors, therapists, doctors, and psychologists, but even housewives and a lot of people over here must have done it, and I can also share about the fees and everything over here only. I'll just do that right away so that So anyway, so any questions you want to ask, please go ahead, and then I'll share again. How much does the cost of workshop? I'll send it. I'll just show you. Yeah. So the cost of the workshop. Before that, if there are any questions, I can answer that. And for any counselor and therapist, this is a very, very good, simple modality that they can integrate in their work, even psychologists and all. You don't need to have a specialized training and all that. Yeah, it's online. This is an online workshop. Yeah. How about mental illnesses like psychosis? See, I tell people that if a person can comprehend you well, then it's easier to treat the person. If the person cannot comprehend, which can happen in case of psychosis, and all, it becomes a bit tough. Yeah. And get that. It's very, very important to understand what kind of diseases can be cured, which cannot be cured. Yeah. And also, all the cases that I do it in consonance with the psychiatrist. If it's a long-term disease, if it's people have been taking medicines for a long time and all that, then you have to be really careful, because you cannot play around with this kind of medications that are being taken. That can take time, and that all depends upon the persons who come in. Yeah. Yeah. Offline courses are there, Snail, but then that now it's once a way. But also, if there's a group of people who are interested, I always offer online, means at their place or whatever can be done. Vijay Sai.
Hi, Rajiv, you can count me in this time. I'm joining.
Yes, and very, very nice to have you around.
Thank you.
Vijay Sai is one of those personalities. He's like one of the most positive personalities I ever met. We have worked together, like we are in the same organization, and he's someone whom I look up to big time.
Rajiv Naidu is my senior.
Very generous.
I was looking for this core somatic integration for a long time.
I know.
So finally, I made time this month and could attend this, and also definitely will be joining.
Thank you, Vijay Sai. Yeah. Yeah. So you can ask specific questions. Yeah. And as I said, only thing I would request you not to ask is like, can we cure this, and can we cure it right now? No, you cannot cure it right now, because this is not the space for curing anything. Yeah. As I've said, that is any kind of curing, like what my teacher says, curing happens in therapies and therapeutic sessions. It doesn't happen in workshops, or it doesn't happen in webinars. Yeah. In workshops, you learn how to cure it. But if you really want to go for the cure, because it can take longer sessions. Yeah. So anyways, people who are interested, please ask questions. I would be glad to answer them. Yeah. So there is a person who's asked a question over here. Just a minute, Sakshi, I'll come back. Yeah. Do we ask specific questions? Is it Solia? Yeah.
Yes,
I had question on self-trust, risk-taking ability in new setting. Can ask later too. Okay, this is Solia. Then I'm very sure this kind of question can come.
Yes, this is me. Hi.
Yeah, hi. So yeah, so I will take that, Solia. I'll just talk to Sakshi and then come back to you. Is that good?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Sakshi.
So, Dr. Naidu, many people are quite skeptical about alternative therapies. They feel that alternative therapies are not tested and they are not scientifically proven.
Yes.
So I do understand at my level that the body can heal by itself, and the power of the divine is also there. But to explain it to somebody else who is very scientifically, just goes by the scientific theories and all, how should we counter that?
Yeah. So I will just respond, because there are a lot of people who are asking the cost of the workshop because they have to go. I'll just mention this and then we can. Yeah. Because there are at least 3 of them who asked. I'll just complete this. Okay. Because if they have to go, they can go. No problem. Yeah. So the cost of the workshop, this has been reduced now. Yeah. Earlier till last time, it was almost 20-30% more, but I have brought it down because a lot of people who are asking this workshop. Yeah, and this is my own created workshop. This is 11 to 13th, it's 7 to 10 p.m. And the actual fees for this workshop is 10,000, but it's a flat 50% discount for that is 4,999 till tomorrow. Yeah, then it becomes 6,999, and you can register by paying rupees 1,000 or in full. Yeah, and the GPay number is this. You can write it down. Someone can just post it on the group 9833978797, or you can just message on the group. I will send you the details. Or you can give this, or you can just on the group you have my number 9820800120. You can always post it on that. I'll just put it over here. There's the same number for GPay. Yeah, you can always send it. Okay, so are there any questions on this, friends? So if someone can click this and put it on the group, you can do that also. Okay, chalo. I will shift and I will go back to question and answers. And people who want to leave, thank you. Yeah, Sindhu, I'll come back to you. Huh? First, let me complete with this person. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Bolo, Sakshi, you are asking a question.
Yeah, so like I was saying that people who are skeptical about alternate therapies, how do we I mean, they say that, it is not, these are not scientifically proven. And, even naturopathy, some people think that, allopathy is better. And, so how do we counter that? Like,
see, I've been working in this place for last 28 years. And in the field that I am, I'm talking about the healing and all that, at least minimum for 17 years, 18 years. Okay. What I've realized is that my conviction in myself is the key to any change. Because none of my clients ever come back to me saying that we don't trust it. But I know that when I initially started off, they would ask questions like this. Now they don't even ask me, what have you read? What have you studied? How much is your qualification? No one is asking me. But I am very, very convinced about my work. And that's so true about my colleagues also. That's one. Yeah. Secondly, each one has a right to their own conviction. What they want to believe in, they don't know. So the focus has to be, I tell people that your focus has to be whether you want to get healed or not healed, or whether you want to create the efficacy. By the way, if they say allopathic heals, that's not the truth. It doesn't. Okay, it maintains you in a particular state or suppresses. But for the acute cases and emergency cases, there's nothing like allopathic. I would completely agree with that. Yeah. Secondly, who are the people who are saying that this is not working? Are the people from a background that is from the holistic sciences, the natural sciences, or they are from some other field?
some other field, not
Yeah.
doctors or anybody.
Yeah. So they have to know it, first of all. That is what I tell. I even tell the allopathic doctors that if you haven't dabbled in like homeopathy, you don't have a right to talk about homeopathy.
Right.
You don't know about homeopathy. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Yeah. It's almost like I haven't had Punjabi food. And I said, अरे पंजाबी फूड तो खराब है. अरे तुमने खाया है क्या कभी? नहीं खाया है. तो पहले खाओ तो सही. साउथ इंडियन फूड खाओ तो सही. फिर पता चलेगा कितना अच्छा है बुरा है. Are you getting me?
Yes.
So
right.
I tell people who's not in this field, they don't have a right to speak it. I'm very clear about that. Yeah, you go through it. Otherwise, all the holistic sciences, which has been proved, including homeopathy, has been founded and brought up and disseminated across by allopathic doctors. Homeopathic physician Samuel Hahnemann was an MD. Bernie Siegel is an MD. Darren Brown is a MD. These are the people who are really taking the work to places. Deepak Chopra is an MD. So you have to read up those books in order to get convinced. Are you getting it? But you can, but one more thing, if you can explain the mechanisms the way I am telling you, then most of the people will agree. So we got to also have our facts right.
Right.
Okay. What do you do, Sakshi?
So I am into journalism. I'm a writer and editor.
Awesome. Awesome. So this is what I tell. Very, very simple. Get the facts, and it's all over the place. Now you can't say this is non-scientific because in the internet, everything is there which says that this is scientific also.
I'll connect with you later sometime
Please
because
do.
so my brother Sunny Vasini must have spoken to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. Now
So
I
yes,
get the name.
I'll connect with you in a day or two.
Now I get the name. Yes. Actually, I got it. Yeah. So Sindhu.
Yes, sir. Am I visible, audible?
Hi.
Hi, sir. Beautiful session like always.
Thank you.
I love this understanding of yours where you said when people hold back or suppress their emotion, it leads to constipation. You
Yeah.
gave similar explanation for PCOD. Sir, I wanted to hear your understanding about autoimmune diseases because this is something we are hearing often, and doctors are like, it's an autoimmune condition. There's nothing you can do about it. So your understanding on autoimmune.
So that's exactly what I said. When someone says that nothing can be done, it has to be followed by the limitation of that science or the limitation of the person who's saying it. Right?
Yes.
Because there are so many autoimmune disorders that are being treated around the world. Yeah, and we are talking about allopathic doctors themselves treating it with help of holistic sciences. But you have to bring in the holistic sciences because the holistic science doesn't work only on the diseased organ, which is the focus of any allopathic science. Here, the focus is on the energies, the holistic, the mind, body, and the spirit. When I say spirit, spirit is the energy that flows through you, that keeps you alive, that keeps you healthy or diseased, if it's in disharmony. So when you put it in balance, then automatically a lot of diseases get cured and you're in the pathway to health. Is that clear? Now, when you're talking about autoimmune, you're talking about your immunity going against yourself. So why would it go against yourself? So there's something that you're not doing it right. And what is it? Like, kind of, suppose you're holding a knife in your hand and this is my right hand, and you say, I don't like my left hand, I'll poke it. But still you're going to hurt yourself. That is what, very simple terms, I will say it's autoimmune. You are going against yourself. It doesn't matter left hand is right mein maro, right se left mein maro. You're going to go hurt. Now when you're holding back anger or resentment, now I will be holding resentment and anger towards you. But the thing is that I'm still holding it within me. Now, to a particular point, my body can handle this kind of emotional suppression or conflict. But after some time, the body starts expressing itself as a symptom so that you start paying attention that there's something not right. And that expression in the form of a disease can be anything from arthritis to PCODs or an autoimmune disorder.
Makes sense, sir.
Yeah.
Beautifully put, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Anupama. Anupam?
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
My question is, how is the result with the cases having schizophrenia?
It depends upon the kind of type also, yeah, and how much time of medication. Very honestly, I am a bit held back with schizophrenia because there are a lot of other symptoms also, but I have had my results in some cases of schizophrenia. But psychotic schizophrenia, I will not, I may not, I'm a bit careful about that. Neurotic, I can try. That is what I can say. But the
Sir,
person has to be ready to give enough time. But we have had cases of schizophrenia which has been helped.
actually, sir, my daughter is having schizophrenia past 4 years, and medically the cingulate gyrus is not formed, and also the corpus callosum connecting the two brains.
Hmm.
So in such conditions, because it is not possible for me to bring her to Mumbai, can we already her medication is on with allopathic and also with homeopathic, but
Okay.
but with the homeopathic I'm not getting results I'm expecting.
So
So can
Anupam,
we?
do one thing, connect to me personally. Let's figure out whatever I can do. May not be through me only. I will
Yes, yes,
figure out some people who can help you. I'll also see what's possible. Once I go
yes.
through the case, if I am not able to, I will ask someone and then let me figure out. I'll put you across to that person. Someone who's
Okay,
professionally involved in this. That is what I will do.
okay. So should I WhatsApp you at your number?
WhatsApp me on my number. I'll give you a time. We'll have a good amount of time talking about this and then we'll take it up from there. You can
Thank
send
you so much.
me something. Okay, Anupam?
So nice. So kind of you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
don't worry. I think something can work out. Let's figure out, because there's nothing like incurable. बहुत सारा चीज figure out हो जाता है.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah, and I really acknowledge you for sharing this right in this platform. Yeah,
Thank you so much, sir.
I really acknowledge. Thank you. Yeah, anyone else? Thank you, Vinali. Hema, yes, Hema. So, all the people who are interested, please send me a message on my number that you are interested. Then we can take it up from there. Okay, any other questions?
Sir, in the workshop, so one of my friends is dealing with autoimmune disorder, lupus, for many years. And so she has been on steroids for quite some time now. She can also attend and it will like help her.
Yes, actually.
Great.
Anyone can learn.
Yes.
See, anything, it's only going to help you. It's not going to be a waste.
Yes.
Are you getting me? It's going to help you.
Great. Thanks.
Anyone else? Any questions? Anita, hi for being here. Namrata.